What is art? Is it a message to the gods? Is it a message to your friends to tell them that your mama is so fat? Well, I've come here with the answer today. What? I hate this intro. Sometimes social anxiety just gets you, Sometimes you just want to do something and then it fights you, but, you gotta go into the uncomfortable zone in order to fight against your social anxiety. Anyways, I don't know. I have come up with an ingenious idea. Wait, ingenious? Ingenious. Yes, ingenious. I have made an ingenious program to tell me prompts for 3 categories: comfortable, learning, and misery. What are these categories, you must say? Well, the comfortable is where I'm comfy, bro. That learning is where I learn, bro. And misery is where I. Alright, let's go ahead and get started with the CLM challenge. Alright, for the comfortable part, I have to draw a body part I like drawing. For the learning part, I have to study an art movement. And the misery, can't change hue, pretend your digital area is a real canvas, almost real canvas. And I'm being timed. My time is 89 minutes. Okay, so my thoughts are, well, it's randomly chosen for the comfortable challenges to do a body part I'm comfortable with doing with. So let's go ahead and get this started. 3, 2, 1, go. So the body part I felt comfortable with drawing is the torso. So that's what I did. So that includes the chest, the abs, yeah, the rib thingies. I don't know the names of the muscles. I should probably know them, but I don't. This is what I felt comfortable with doing. And of course I'm using references for this. So I'm just drawing the chest. So I always do 2 sketches. One where I do basic blocks, and then the second one is where I add detail. I also decided not to do, I guess, final renders for this and just be loose with it. So I just added like rough shading and just use the second sketch as the final line art, basically. Now the second torso, the reference was like a little bit like bent, so that's what I did with this, but it didn't have any shading, so you'll see me improvise some shading. I think it turned out okay. It was more like a warm-up for me to start my day. Quote unquote start my day. It was like the afternoon, actually. But yeah, this is my improvised shading. I think it turned out pretty decent. I added some highlights because I felt like I could use some highlights, but some of the highlights were a little too strong, so I just toned it down a bit. This part I did, it's a little bit uncomfortable, but I wanted to try it. I decided to do the muscle fibers, I think. I don't know what they're actually called. I don't know too much about anatomy. Yeah, but the muscle fibers, like without like the fat in the skin, just showing like what's underneath. So I would add like the lines for the muscle fiber. I think this one's the worst one out of the 4 torsos I've drawn, but this is my first time ever trying this, so I'm not gonna be too hard on myself. I do think I could have done a little bit better. And yeah, I did use a reference for this also. Maybe I should have referenced multiple references just to get a better idea of what it's supposed to look like. Here I am erasing like the right part of the chest because I did the lines incorrectly. They were kind of not coming from like a specific intersection, like where the shoulder and the chest connects. But it was very interesting to do this because I never really looked at the muscles here, so it was interesting to do, like drawing the fibers and stuff. I'm also erasing these parts to add like I don't know what these are, like the fat in between the muscles. I'm not too sure. But yeah, I just did that. I also added the legs, even though I was doing the torso. It's like, why not? I was in the reference. Yeah, there's not too much to say, so that's why this part is 5 minutes long. ish. And then for the fourth torso, I took a restroom break. For the fourth torso, it was the shoulders were going upwards, so the chest would stretch upwards. Here I am, like stretching these parts, like trying to make them look more symmetrical. I don't like doing front poses, and here I am, like. Oh, this reference was a little bit of a struggle because I couldn't tell if like it was from the camera was like an upwards perspective or a straight on perspective. I mean, regardless, it's still like it is towards the object, the person. I don't know what you call it, the reference. I don't know. So it was kind of hard to tell if it was like up front or not. So like you see me struggling with the legs a little bit, but I wasn't too worried about the legs because again, this was mostly a torso reference thing. And yeah, I do like drawing torsos a lot because like you can see like the muscles. I like drawing muscles. Muscles are cool. And here I am doing like the shading, like blocking out and like erasing bits to make it lighter in some areas that are closer to the lighting. And yeah, that's pretty much it. That's what I did for my comfortable challenge. And now we're gonna go to the learning challenge. Alright, so for the learning part of this challenge, the randomizer chose to do a movement, an art movement. And the art movement I did was the abstraction movement. And I don't really know how to do abstract because like I always want to have control. But last night I was feeling like really stressed out, and I decided to, you know what, I'm gonna see what abstract's all about because I felt like I needed to do something in my art to feel right. And by the way, last night in terms of when I recorded this, so who knows when this video come out. So I looked up the video, and this was came on the results: Easy Abstract: How to Create Abstract Art Without Thinking by Claire Bremner. I probably butchered the last name. I'm sorry. It really helped me visualize like what abstract is. I won't say that what I did was very good, but you know the results were interesting to say the least. Please watch her video because I feel like learning abstract is very useful, and the things that she said in that video is very helpful about whenever you're in like in an art ditch, art burnout, art block, not feeling it, or you're feeling stressed out. So I think learning about abstract art and doing it is very helpful for helping with that feeling you have. So let's go ahead and get started in 3, 2, 1, start. So the first thing I did was, you know, pick colors because that's what the video said. I decided to do a new color set. Also, the video is about like doing it more in traditional style, but I don't really have the money for that, so I, you know, just do it in digital style. And these are the colors that I picked. I decided to, you know, go a little weird with my colors. I don't know, weird is the right term, but you'll see during the process that I'm just, you know, experimenting, doing a lot of things, doing whatever, because you're supposed to have fun with it, do whatever you want with it. There's not supposed to be like any order to it. It's probably gonna be more chaotic and stuff like that. Also in the video she said to like, you know, divide your canvas into segments. She did 6. I did 9 because I can't count and I did it last night, so I wasn't really thinking too much. But yeah, I couldn't sleep last night, so I thought I would do this, and as you can see here, I'm just putting a bunch of lines everywhere. As we progress through this, it gets, I don't know, worse, but like I start covering a lot of stuff because I forgot that you're not supposed to start with smaller details, and yeah, the small details get ruined. And eventually I do restart, Even though I kind of like it right here. Maybe I should have stopped here. I don't know, but like I just wanted to experiment because I have so many brushes that I've downloaded from the Clip Studio assets store that like I'm like I want to try them out. I want to try a bunch of them because I didn't know what a lot of them did because I didn't use them. So I went around and did a lot of this. And that's probably like my excuse to why I would restart this piece. So you can see me like adding red lines and stuff, adding weird blobs everywhere. And at some point I did close my eyes. I'm not sure when. It's all blurry memory. But I did close my eyes at some points just so that I can just put stuff in there without having control, trying to be more loose. And I feel like this did help me with feeling more freedom with my art because like I'm not trying. Because I try to be perfect with it, and I used to try not to be perfect with it, but eventually that feeling does surface back and takes control of like my art, and that's what causes like a lot of stress because like my art's supposed to be for me at least it's supposed to be a place for me to be happy when I'm not happy, which is usually a lot. No, I shouldn't be saying these things, but yeah, I've been feeling really stressed out lately, so doing this abstraction was really good, even if it looks like a mess, an absolute mess, so much of a mess. I don't know. This is my first time. Well, this is not my first time doing it, but this is like my first time actually not giving it my all because I don't know if like that really counts because I'm just doing a random stuff, but giving it my all. We're just gonna say that anyways. It's just a bunch of scribbles I did, a lot of lines everywhere. I don't know. I just felt like going crazy with the different things. I sort of wish I stopped right here after I created this part with I guess tornado thing that I was making, like maybe like petals, tornado petals. And of course I did try to stick with these four colors, but I did change like the hues and values a little bit every once in a while. Here I started adding these weird lines. Because like why not? Just going through a bunch of weird brushes, sometimes going back to ones that I liked. I'm like, oh, this is a cool brush I have. Why have I never used it? But yeah, this was a lot of experimenting, and I think that like abstract art's really good with that. And maybe especially for digital art, maybe not. If I'm being honest, I don't do traditional art. I never. Well, I did take few art classes in high school, but I did do traditional art. But I've never gone like around to it. But what I'm saying is I'm being stupid and saying that digital art's more useful for abstract art, but it's not. That's a stupid opinion. What I'm saying is like abstract art is very useful for like just testing out stuff. And here I am just restarting because I felt like it. So I just used the wood texture brush, just to add a bunch of weird lines, and then I started using a custom watercolor brush to blend all these colors together, and also using the eyedropper tool to do this. But yeah, I feel like abstract art is very good for testing out mediums, whether it's digital art or traditional art, because you just never know what's gonna pop out. Like what the video I watched said I like I don't know I don't know I'm just like attracted to this darkness, I guess. So I added darkness again. Found a bunch of random lines, anemones and anemones. Maybe added some lines on the top, because why not? Yeah, I'm just doing whatever I felt like with what my head did. I without like arguing with like, oh, should I do this? Should I not do this? I eventually at this point, like right here, I've become comfortable with like, okay, my mind says to do this, I'll do this. It was like, oh, add these long lines, use this brush, use that brush, add dots, add triangles, add squiggly looglies. And it's like, alright, I'll do it. Instead of like, being like, I don't know if this will look good. Like my visual in my head says otherwise. And honestly, you should probably just do it anyways, even if you think it's not gonna look good. Because why not? There's nothing wrong with experimenting. Yeah, I'm not sure how to do commentary in this, so this is about 5 minutes long. Oh no, this isn't 5 minutes long, this is 10 minutes long. Oops, I thought I exported this in 5 minutes. Oops, what? It's fine. This part, my mind wanted an octopus, I guess, with like dark eyes, so I added that to the right side, and then there's like, I don't know what these are. Chains? I just added them. And I added dots. So I'm like, ooh, this brush is like dotty, let's just use it. I added a scribble on top there. I added scribbles down there. My mind wanted some orange, a little bit of orange, add more flair to it. I don't know. Sometimes I wonder when to stop. At the same time, when it's like, maybe I shouldn't stop. But at some point, you do have to stop. Add that thing right there. I don't know what that is. I think at the time, I think I'm like, all right, let me add like an eye, add an eye. That's with stitches and the eye shine open. That's what I think my mind was going to. Did like a wet water wave brush on the sword thingies and added waves randomly everywhere. Added grass, I guess. I don't know. It's whatever, I guess. Whatever floats your boat, and then added triangles. Yeah, this process is extremely weird, but I wouldn't say that I did not enjoy it. I did enjoy it. It felt good, just laying loose and doing whatever I wanted to without worrying about it looking good or not. So I definitely want to do more abstract art in the future. Maybe without using CLM, the CLM challenge. Added these blue circular dots in homage to the original piece is dots. And yeah, that was it. So I did split up, like in what the video said, I did split up the this art into 9 pieces, even though it was supposed to be like 6 pieces, but I don't think that is too much. I did do the canvas too small, so it is gonna be blurry, so I apologize. So this is the first one. But yeah, the canvas was very small, so I guess it looks really bad, I guess in blurry, but this is the first one, and then the segments, here's the first segment. Like, this is really cool. Like, just looking at like each segment individually and see what is brought up. I like this one. It looks like a gazing sun with an eye staring down at triangular clouds, and then this is the surface of a planet, maybe. Interesting. This one's weird. I won't lie. I don't know what to make of this. Maybe you guys can make out what this looks like. Man, I'm so good at speaking. This one's really cool. I like this one. Like now this looks like a mouth right here, and then it's like absorbing or destroying. That's my abstract art. Looks like chaotic stuff because I don't know. I just have a bunch of stuff happening. I don't know if like I'll ever get to a point where like it looks more sensical. Probably not. This one's cool. Like like the red lines here coming this way, and then triangle going up here with this purple line. Black dots here. Maybe this is what the ocean looks like. This one I like a lot. Like it kind of looks like a factory to me. Like right here, like factory lights, and then this is like a thing where like a conveyor belt, and it's dropping like these blue things, and then like I guess like oil coming out here, a blue light, a red light, an orange ring light thing. Pretty cool. I like this one too. This one I have no idea what's happening. Maybe this is Star Wars. A portal right here, or maybe this is the ocean right here, and then like these are futuristic cars flying around. And then in the background is like buildings that are curved. We found the technology to make curvy buildings. Yeah, I like this. Eighth one. This looks like the ocean too, like underneath, like seaweed things, the Nemo, turtle, stream water, conveyor belt. Yeah, I like this one too. This one's interesting. This is like a plus sign here, a multiplication sign. That one's cool. Here's the ninth one. Water again is what I see. It's pretty cool. The conveyor belts in underwater, Yeah, I like this one a lot too. Yeah, it's very chaotic, but like once you like look at the individual pieces, you can kind of find interesting composition. So yeah, that's the learning part of the challenge, and I did thoroughly enjoy it. And now we're moving on to the. Alright, so this is the misery part of the challenge, which is I couldn't change the hue. I had to treat the digital canvas like a real canvas, and I have to complete this in 89 minutes. So the digital canvas thing into a real canvas, I couldn't use a fill tool, the eyedropper. I could move around between utensils, but I didn't use my keyboard because I didn't want to accidentally undo and redo. So I just turn off the keyboard. I'm allowed to use different utensils and change the sizes, and I can also save. Those are the only things I can do. And then for the hue thing, I decided to do a black and white illustration. I'll just get it started, and I'll talk about it in 3, 2, 1, start. So I did a black and white art piece because I thought I couldn't change the hue, then I would do mostly black and white. So I did like the Japanese style of black and white art. Here I'm trying to block out stuff. There's a building right there that looks like not a building. That gets erased. There's a guy in a boat. Because I found like an interesting reference that I'm like, wow. I'm gonna put a samurai there instead on the boat. There I am trying to do the building, but I'm like, I don't want to do a building, so eventually I do erase that. For the most part of this, for the first part of this art thing, I couldn't really think about what to do to mimic the style. So I used like a pen to mark stuff out. I added trees. They'll get removed eventually because I didn't like it. But yeah, eventually I would use the marker tool. I use thick paint too, which is a custom brush, and then I use like a palette knife thing that I thought would work, but it didn't really look good. It didn't really feel like it was blending correctly, so after giving up on that, I just started doing the knight and the guy on the boat because they were just black, and so and so I just did that because they were just like a black color. There was nothing to what do you call it? Like it's just like what? Like there's no blending to it. But that's what I did. And I fixed the helmet a little bit. Added highlights to make it seem like there's an arm there. Add highlights to make the guy on the left have a right arm. Eventually, I would realize that a flat marker is not going to work out in the long run for the background. It did a decent job in the foreground with the boat, but eventually I would use the watercolor brush, which is a running watercolor. Yeah, running watercolor for it. Use a custom rough key pen because I thought, why not? Already messing up for a lot. Here I am adding like gray, like the marker, even though it's set to black, to the black color, it's faded with because like just the white background and then the marker being like faint, fixing up the mountains a bit. And then I used the Blender 1 blend, which is a custom blender tool from the shop. That helps with blending, and eventually, like I said, I would switch to the watercolor instead of the marker. I think in the long run, it looks a lot better. Fixing up the mountains outlines. And yeah, I'm using running color edge watercolor here. Also, the eraser tool wouldn't work because I would erase the black, not the black, the white background, and then you'll see the transparent background, so I can use that. So whenever I'd erase something, I'd go to the white color and then rub it off. I decided to add more whites to the mountains because I felt like there was not enough whites, but eventually I added too much gray. In the end, I did fix that again. I feel decent about what I made here. In the time that I had, which was 89 minutes, an hour, 29 minutes, wasn't too bad, I'd say, regardless of this being a misery challenge. Because when I was thinking about misery challenge, it'd be more like, I guess it's more limiting, like each tier from comfortable to uncomfortable to misery. I'm limiting myself, but I feel like out of all the three, this one looks the best. Granted, the comfortable one I didn't really make a finished art piece. Here I added shadows, and then you can see the samurai shadow looks more like a demon. Because I thought, like why not? It was just a spur of thought, spur of the moment. Added more details to the samurai and the guy because I felt pretty good about the mountains. Added more details to the water to have more like that long line, that tapered long line. Decided to add a tree. This tree, it's okay. I couldn't figure out how to do the branches, even with the reference I was using for the tree. I definitely need to study trees more. That should be part of the challenge. I should add this to a comfortable challenge. Draw trees for 3 hours. But yeah, the hue thing though was a little difficult when I'm adding the colors here, because it's like I can't exactly make highlights and stuff, otherwise it'll look a little flat. So you see there, like I try to add highlights, but like I'll just fix the shape a little bit. So that's what I did instead. Use the marker to add, I guess, add more shape to it, and then use the marker to add branches. And I add a sun here. This is a little bit cheating. I just did a dot. I'll say it's fine, because we'll just pretend that it's like one of those special rulers. We'll just make an exception for that, I guess. Added more whites to the mountains because I realized that there's not enough whites. And then I fixed the outlines of the mountains a bit to be darker. I felt like they weren't dark enough. Overall, I do like this one. I also didn't zoom in because you can't zoom into your camera. You can only like lean closer, and I lean close to the mic. I'm sorry, but I can't exactly lean close to my tablet. So yeah, I added clouds to add a little bit more depth to the mountains and the sun in the background. I definitely should have picked a more red color, but I already picked that color when I started. So I'm like, I don't really want to change, even though I've only been using blacks and whites. I'd rather not, move that wheel. When I was satisfied with the mountains and the sun, I added more detail to the samurai, and then a little bit more detail to the guy on the left, our left. Just adding more highlights and then fixing it with some blacks, with making my brush thinner. Add a little red in the shadow because I'm like, more demonic, Or the reflection, be a reflection, not a shadow. My bad. Fixing the outline of the mountain, and you see in the top of that second mountain from the left, the top is annoying. Oh, I didn't notice, but yeah, I added details to the boat and I added a lantern. I felt like the boat was lacking. Yeah, I tried adding a reflection for the sun and the mountain, but I'm like, I like the white space better. Plus, that's what the white space is for like uh, this art style. That added particles, like the petals from the tree. Add a little bit of motion to the picture art. Shit. Then I added like this was like the final minute, so I added like lines at the end, and yeah, that's pretty much it for the misery part of the challenge. Overall, for the first week with comfortable learning misery, I think I did okay. Wouldn't necessarily say it was the best that I could have done, but over time, I hope to do this as a weekly thing and then improve my art by forcing myself to learn things because I feel like I should learn things and learn more to open my visual library, to expand it. I mean, to expand my visual library and to get to know the greats that made art what it is today. So yeah, thank you for watching, and I hope you enjoyed it. And I'll see you hopefully next week. Take care. Bye bye.